Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today we are in dire need of tools. Our company's literally falling apart, and unfortunately, Damwald's not much better off. They are certainly not in a position to help us with that. Same with Helvik, really, and we've done what we can for both, so I guess we turn our attention towards Oberberg. Which is, I will note, a keep, not a proper town or city. They're a lot less vulnerable to all these settlement conditions, so we should get much more stable prices, but we will not be offered any actual quests. We don't have alliances with the local noble houses yet. So it'll just be a quick stopover. We'll pop in, grab some tools, sell off a few excess items, and then I guess, oh, nice. We've got our first retinue slot. Nowhere near enough gold to actually use it, so we'll just sit on that for now. But yeah, once we've hit Oberberg, we'll probably head further north. Check out that trio of towns just beyond. Okay, we've got a tavern. Nothing notable on rumors. We'll cool our heels till morning. Wait for everything to open up. And there we go. Let's see what we got here. We've got a weaponsmith and armorsmith, both well beyond our price range right now, but good to know. And the recruit pool. Miners, okay, yeah, that makes sense. There is a salt mine here. Ooh, and an adventurous noble. That's fun. Not much else of note, though. Let's check local prices. Okay, here we go. Still slightly over book, but that is well below what we were seeing elsewhere. Added armor. Oh, military cleaver. That is tempting, but would also be most of our current cash. Alright, let's grab a couple stacks of tools. I guess we'll go ahead and unload the necklace. We could probably eke out a few extra coins elsewhere, but that's not too bad. And I think that's it for now. Tempting to grab those bags of salt, but my big concern is that once we head up north here, that none of these three towns will have suitable quests for us, which would put us at risk of running out of cash. Last thing we need is to miss payroll. Running a bit light on medical too, but that can wait. All right, Agerstead, what you got for us? Oof, you are not doing great. Terrified villagers rebuilding and ambushed trade routes, so prices are awful. As is local demand. 2 contracts, though, so we might be able to fix up most of that. Also has a weapon shop and barber, plus a tavern with no notable rumors. Oh, a thief and a cultist. Relatively cheap. I'm not comfortable burning cash on them now, but I might take a chance with those two on the way back out. You find Rabe of Agerstead with a dirtied and mud-slaked woman sat beside his chair. Her hair is matted and her flesh stricken with all manner of punishment. She sneers at you, as if it was all your doing. Rabe of Agerstead kicks her over. Don't mind this one, sellsword. We caught her and her friends raiding the granary. Killed a lot of the savages. I'd say we spared her for the fun of it, but beating on her is about as fun as doing it to a dog. Her mannishness just steals the joy. He kicks her again, and she snarls back. See? Well, I have news. We have located the stain she came from, and I have every intention of burning it to the ground. That's where you come in. The barbarian village is north of here. Stomp it out and you'll be paid very well. The woman doesn't know what is being said, but some slack in her stare seems to indicate she's beginning to understand why a man of your sort walked through that door in the first place. Rabe of Agerstead grins. You interested, or do I have to find a man of meaner character? Well, I can't say I love your attitude, but at the same time I've also seen firsthand just how much carnage the beasts and barbarians of the region have wrought upon the local settlements. So I suppose I can understand why you might need me. How much are we talking here? Rest assured, what I'm offering you now is a fine prize for your work. We're all friends here, right? How about 880 crowns once the job is done? Yeah, I guess that sounds fair. So, Pillager's Jerts, north of Agerstead. 2 skull contract, so we might have a reaver or two, but we should be safe from anything worse. Oh, and new goal. Ah, shoot, we don't have the contract one. So I guess maybe this one, the wilderness site. We'll hold off on trading till we've got more cash to play with. And we're not ready to push to 12 men just yet. All right, yeah, we'll do the wilderness camp. This might actually get it done. Though, technically, we discovered this before we got that goal, so it might not register properly. The village of savages is surprisingly not the hellscape you expected. Aside from the flayed corpse hanging upside down from a wooden holy totem, it looks like any other place with ordinary folks. Aside from the heavy-set clothes and every individual carrying an axe or sword, it's all quite normal. There's a guy chopping a corpse's legs off and feeding them to pigs, but you'll see that just about anywhere. Any idiot nods. Well, we're ready to attack. Just give the word, Captain. Word. And yeah, this one shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I don't want to take it too lightly either, but more hounds and thralls, that's about as easy as it gets. The raiders' approach is met by barking and howling, and a moment later, great hairy brutes come bounding over the frost-strewn fields. Alerted by the noise, the denizens of the squat primal village stop what they're doing, grabbing up whatever crude weapons are close at hand, voices raised in unison in a ululating cry as they literally scream into battle. The dogged defenders crash into the RetconRaider shield line and grip firm on the hilt of his blade. Drakiith is the first to respond. And as the beast falls, a shirtless man with braided beard lunges forward to take its place, but is met by a well-placed arrow which pierces his bicep, listing him off to one side. The rest of the villagers, undeterred by the initial spate of carnage, rush forward, even as King's Rook strikes down another dogged defender. Man, I do hate those sound effects, though. Given slight pause, half the primitive warriors hang back, preparing crude javelins. And he steps forward, first to counter their charge. A swing of the flail, and a barbarian spearman staggers backwards, blood fountaining from his ruined nose. Rev steps up. Warfork set, the tines piercing the side of another charging warrior. Here he holds the north. Random and Verlin the south. Random's flail whirls. Another barbarian falls. And as forecasted, a hail of sharpened sticks begin to rain upon the raiders' formation. Annie is bloodied, their tunic tattered. Drakiith is glanced as well, but he is undeterred. He gamely pushes past Annie, felling the badly wounded spearman in passing. Arrow fires off another careful shot. His projectile turned aside by a thick hide vest. Rook steps south, warding off a pair of flankers. Eerie clears the north. Another doggo dispatched. Yeah, man, I feel bad about that, even when I'm fighting them. You know, it's one of the reasons I'm always so hesitant to embrace the stereotypical warhound strategies, you know, slapping one on every character. But, you know, that's just the nature of battle, brothers. It is a grim and oft dismal place. Random swats the last of the doggos, discouraging it from its continued aggressions. Their line stretched thin. The raiders square off against the last few barbarians. Verlin takes a couple of spear thrusts for his trouble, but keeps his foe distracted long enough for Rook to land a killing strike. Arrow steps out to the side, taking careful aim. But his shot goes wide, and a javelin sails over his head in turn. Rev quickly gets him covered. And Eerie, now freed up on the north, charges in with his spear, albeit slowed by the slick and slushy snow underfoot. Random, growing weary, readies his shield, content to simply hold his foe at bay until more allies can arrive. The doggo tries to flee, but the raiders, caught up in the bloodlust, do what must be done. A savage kick on the north sends Eerie reeling. On the south, Rook steps up, catching his opponent's ear and tearing it to tatters. Another hasty jab, and the tines of Rev's Warfork find their way between a warrior's ribs. Footing regained, Eerie steps back up. His spear sinks deep, tangling in the man's ribs as he's impaled like a bug. Annie circles wide, moving to flank. Verlin on the brink of exhaustion. Still lands a clumsy blow. Blood streams down, ribboning the barbarian's beard. Random quickly takes advantage. A whirl of his flail. Another foe felled. Doggo scrambles for safety, tail tucked. But the raiders do what must be done. The last barbarian falls, pinned and writhing on the end of Revenant's Warfork. And the raiders finish securing the battlefield. Yep, hate that. But you know what? We really can't spare the XP, so I'll console myself with the level ups and loot. Speaking of which, a fair stack of coins, a little extra food and supplies. The old wooden shields aren't terrible. I mean, they're not great, but they are a step up from our bucklers. Let's go ahead and get those shields tossed on. That's an extra 5 melee and range defense for Annie and Drakiith. Though obviously we'll want to upgrade them to something a mite bit sturdier once we get the chance. And let's see how we roll. Okay. Max roll on melee, but minimum roll on defense. We'll take the melee, obviously. And I guess we'll take the defense. We really can't spare it. Plus the max roll in health, obviously. That'll round us out at 60, 75 with Colossus. Followed by our universal level 4 feat. Gifted. That gives us 3 more max rolls to help even out those numbers. 2 of which go into melee and melee defense, though Eerie is still looking pretty thin on defense. We might need to relegate him to be a permanent shieldman. Either that or a pole armor, perhaps. Pretty solid attack score, so I mean, he could go dedicated spearman. We'll see where he ends up by level 7. For now, though, we push on. And he gets slightly dodgier. Ooh, okay, here we go. Not perfect, but pretty good. Lots of options on our secondary, too, but I think we'll focus on bumping up that health. Then we've got Verlin, who also grows dodgier. And also rolls halfway decently. Okay. And he is even more in need of a health boost, so no real question there. Which just leaves Rev, who gets a fantastic slate of rolls, except ironically for morale. Which actually does kind of work because we do need to shore up his health, and we do have a max roll there. As with everyone else, I'd like to get him out to at least 60. And then we'll use Gifted to help make up the difference. And that's it. Yeah, I mean, Rev will never be as good a bannerman as Rook, simply by virtue of that lower star placement. But he will still be a decent backup. And he'll also be able to leverage that with Fearsome later down the line. Assuming, of course, he actually lives long enough to see it. Alright, yeah, let's head back. Collect our pay, pick up a couple of new warm bodies. Not necessarily cream of the crop, but some nice potential utility picks for as long as they last. Rabe of Agerstead welcomes you with open arms. You decline a hug and ask for your pay. He returns to his desk. I wasn't trying to hug you, sellsword. He taps the chest rather despondently. But you did a good job slaughtering those savages. I have a number of scouts who reported it as a splendid time you had out there. You've earned this. He pushes the chest across the desk and you take it at arm's length, meeting a slight bit of resistance as he holds onto it. You hurriedly leave the room without looking at him again. Yeah, that's probably the right idea. Not gonna miss that guy. Which removes ambush trade routes and gets us slightly better prices, though not by much. Terrified Villagers still hits us with a pretty hefty modifier. You know what? Let's grab those other bandages. Always good to keep those in stock. That said, let's hit the pause button real quick. I'm going to go grab those other 2 recruits, get them properly named and kitted, and then we'll push on. And we're back with 2 new raiders in tow. First up, a big raider welcome to a slightly familiar name, Triphoppenskip, an older gentleman with lighter fingers. Sadly a bit lacking in star placement, but I will say, started with some decent defense, so we can certainly work with it, especially given that he was willing to work cheap. And honestly, we mostly hired him for the utility in special events, but hopefully he'll have some luck out in the field as well. And then that aside, he's also definitely a bit better off than our other new recruit, the mysterious book thief, who, you know, I'll square with you, no one really has any idea what he was trying to say, but we're pretty sure he knows what he's getting into. I mean, he's following us around, so I assume that's because he understands he's now part of the company. Not sure he's going to last very long, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. While your men venture around the town, you go to the pub and take a seat. As soon as you do, a strange man approaches. Hey, a local councilman by the name of Berthold the Counselor wishes to see you. Berthold the Counselor settles down in his chair, laughing to himself as he does it. Don't be alarmed, sellsword, but they say ghosts are afoot. Yes, the local peasants are poisoning my mornings with constant talk of ghosts and goblins. They say that these supposed creatures are turning the cemetery upside down, raiding the graves to enlarge their army or some such nonsense. Obviously, it's just the work of some spade-wielding man intent on robbing graves for jewelry. I've seen it before. He looks down at his hands, briefly chuckling. Anyway, I can't just let it rest because these peasants won't get off my back about it. So to ease them, there's you. I need you to go to the cemetery and clear out any troublemakers you find. How you do that is up to you, but I'll go ahead and suggest a good steal, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I think I get the gist of it. What's the pay? He nods. Yes, good. I was thinking about payment for your task earlier. You'll be paid 140 crowns in advance, and another 540 when the job is done. Not sure I quite heard that right. You want to run it by me again? He shakes his head sternly. No, you heard me quite right the first time. 140 in advance, 540 when the job is done. All right, fair enough. Had to try. I'll take it. Slightly more dangerous job, but hopefully we'll pull thugs or Noxera. Those are relatively easy. If we end up against Weeder Gangers, things get a mite bit more complicated. Doubly so if we've got Geists or Fallen Heroes. Oh, or a Necromancer. If we've got a Necromancer, we might just have to bail. You come to find many of the graves are emptied. Not just emptied, but unearthed from below. This is not the work of grave robbers. Oh boy. Okay, well, I guess we got to the bottom of the cemetery plot. Now the trick is digging ourselves back out. On the bright side, no enemies placed suspiciously high on the initiative track, so no Geists, no Necromancer. Doesn't rule out Fallen Heroes, though. We'll hang back, let them come to us, at least until we get a better idea of exactly what we're up against. The RetconRaiders hold more or less steady, breath frosting the air, as the shambling horde approaches. Perhaps suspecting some clever ruse, Arrow looses 2 quick shots. Both find their mark, sinking deep into the chest of a shambling corpse. It stumbles from the impact, but then continues its lurching advance. Fascinating, one of the anatomist mutters under his breath. Actual living corpses. Or perhaps unliving? A hushed but spirited debate breaks out amidst the eccentric academics, whilst the rest of the raiders focus on much more immediate physical concerns. Another arrow finds its mark, this time piercing an eye socket, jutting obscenely out the back of a fractured skull. And yet the figure lurches forward nonetheless, crashing into the raider's line. Drakiith holds his spear steady, keeping the northern half of the line clear. Rook lashes out with his spear, piercing the arrow-riddled undead, finally driving it to the ground, but is it truly dead? The rest of the raiders follow suit, taking shots where they can find them, holding the line. Random peers quizzically at the Wiederganger, listing haphazardly in front of him. Its flail whirls once, twice, tearing flesh and shattering bone. But it's a timely strike from Verlin that has the greatest impact. A solid blow to the temple, and the beast is sent reeling. Spears dip in unison, ready to receive another charge. Here he takes a careful step forward, in a perhaps ill-fated attempt to funnel the creatures into their blades. Arrow continues laying down fire, whilst Rook quickly dispatches the stunned Wiederganger. "The heads!" he cries, his voice muffled by the stifling scarf. "Aim for the heads!" The raiders nod warily, spears readied, shields raised. Nice, nice, nice. And against all odds, they turn back the tides. Trip and Eerie both. One after another, they drive back the shambling corpses, again and again. Chains left hanging in tatters, rotting cadaverous flesh, stringing away in rotten strips to reveal the moldering yellow-white of bone. Honestly, almost too effective. Doesn't really leave our backline much to do. Random shuffles anxiously, eager for battle, but still wary of these mortally impaired men. Verlin, dutifully following Rook's advice, smashes another Wiederganger upside the head. And as it staggers, Rook drives his pike forward, impaling it all the way through. Book Thief strikes it as well, perhaps simply imitating Rook's movements, rather than acting on his words. Spears remain set, though fatigue is now slowly seeping in. Bowman fires off another well-placed shot, this time catching one in the hollow of its temple. Its brain pierced, its limbs pinwheel almost comedically as it teeters to the ground. But does not stop moving entirely. And with 3 of the creatures felled, Random finally works up his nerve, stepping forward, but failing to find purchase with his flail. As Random breaks formation, Trip turns, his mouth open as if to say something. To call him back, perhaps? A clumsy swing catches him from the other side, the dull edge of an axe biting deep into his throat. His words die on his lips, blood frothing forth, staining his beard. Yeah, that's not great. Revenant takes aim, Warfork readied. And with a deft thrust, he catches the beast on Random, throwing it off balance, forcing its blade out of Random's neck. The line shifts, Annie surging forward. But the whirling flail fails to find its mark. Gurgling and spitting blood. A deft smash of Trip's buckler sends one Wiederganger spiraling away. Drakiith nods grimly, shoulders set behind his shield. And with a great cry, he drives the other Wiederganger back, buying Trip a much-needed reprieve. And not a moment too soon. Shambling back to their feet, some of the other felled beasts lurch back upright. Rook moves over quickly, bandages at the ready as he staunches Trip's gushing throat. Which I guess Rev couldn't have done because he doesn't actually have bandages. We'll definitely have to pick up more. Random continues to flail. Now surrounded on 4 sides. Drakiith repeatedly spears another corpse. And Bowman lands another shot. A freshly risen corpse topples back to the ground. But reaching back, Arrow finds his quiver alarmingly empty. Oh, and despite his grievous injury, Trip still has presence of mind to turn back another beast. But, blood-soaked as he is, Trip hastily makes good his escape, pinwheeling to the back line. The rest of the raiders gasp and wheeze, still holding the line, if just barely. But they will soon require rest. A thrust of a Warfork to throw it off balance. And Annie fells another foe. As does Drakiith, before moving south to better control the throng. Harried from all sides, Random finally catches a cleaver upside the head. Incensed by the blow, Random batters one beast to the ground, before savagely turning his ire on a second. Trip stumbles back, finally catching himself against a cluster of tombstones. He reflects upon his mortality, as he watches the rest of the raiders fight to preserve their own. Verlin drives another fiend back into the ground. Perhaps third time's the charm? And Bowman sands arrows. Nervously grips his knife, advancing on the felled corpses, warily watching for any signs of movement. The rest of the raiders surge forward, focused on the more active of the undead, knowing that Bowman has their back. Man, this would be so much easier if we had some proper cleavers. Though we are about to, assuming they actually survive. We could really use recover as well. Think that might have to go on my short list. Maybe that'll be our level 5. Cross-hashed with garish wounds, Random raises his shield. And yet more corpses shamble back to their feet, sandwiching Random between a pair of blood-soaked cleavers. Oh, for fuck's sake. Rev steps up, clearing Random's back. But will he survive the withdrawal? And Drakiith, thankfully, fells the last one on the south, driving his spear point deep into its skull. Random was gushing from 3 bleeding wounds there. That was 15 damage per round. No way he would have survived another hit. Random stumbles clear, eyes blearily set on Trip, who frantically gestures for him to follow. Two beasts yet stand, and the raiders grimly converge. Rev fells yet another. Arrow falls back, warily watching the foes already felled. Drakiith and Eerie both frantically pincushion the last remaining Wiederganger. Annie and Verlin rush to support. Another corpse stumbles back to its feet, but its weapon lost in the shuffle. It's quickly cut back down. Come on. Come on. My goodness. And finally, after what felt like an eternity, the last of the beast is felled. The raiders quickly move from corpse to corpse, piercing brains and severing limbs. A task made all the easier by the new scramasaxes that they salvage from the fallen, plus a tier 2 hand axe. Not to mention the very suspect concoction quickly brewed by the anatomists. A potion of leather skin. When consumed, this powerful concoction alters the flesh to react immediately to sudden blows, protecting the body from severe injury. Don't mind the smell, that's just a sign of its potency. And this is one I wish we could get on everyone. A 33% increase to the consumer's injury threshold. Not sure what it'll actually go to just yet, but we'll see if we end up with any promising glass cannons. Also got a singular level up. Drakiith hits 3, so he gets slightly more dodgy. Let's see how he rolled. Oh, Drakiith, buddy. Buddy. I mean, we'll take the 2 in defense, I suppose. And then, I guess we'll take the max range defense roll. Not something we'd normally raise, but, I mean, there's not much else competing. You know what? What the heck? Let's grab the 5 in initiative. As aforementioned, I would like to crank everyone up to 100 to 120-ish or so. Even if he can't consistently land hits, he can still potentially overwhelm. Though I will be blunt, I mean, if he doesn't start rolling better on those level ups, he's not going to last much longer. Not because I'll retire him. Generally speaking, I'm not going to retire any of the raiders prematurely, short of a permanent injury. But more just because he's going to end up dying. I mean, at some point, those low numbers are going to catch up with him. Here you go, bud. Why don't you hold on to this? Perhaps that'll keep you around for an extra fight or two. Okay, well. Bit of a slog, but we made it through. Berthold the counselor is grinning slyly as you return. Nasty business, wasn't it? I've already heard the news. It travels fast in these parts. A shame we had to do it this way, but who knows what you would have charged otherwise for fighting these things. Hey, you're still getting paid. He gestures to a wooden chest in the corner. 540 crowns are there, as we agreed upon. Berthold, I don't like you. In fact, I didn't like the other guy either. But, condition cleared, pay collected, and we've got slightly more reasonable prices. Which I do think makes this a good place to call it. Whew, not gonna lie, that was a nail-biter. We were not ready for Wiedergangers this early on. Just not properly equipped for it. Though, we've got a couple of Scaramaxes now, so hopefully that'll make us much better prepared moving forward. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, shuffle a few things around, do some light shopping, and we will pick up here next time, as we see what the next town has to offer. Hopefully some slightly less obnoxious nobles. As unlikely as that might be. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Erie V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.